Greetings everyone, my name is Dr. Jason Freeman. I'd like to welcome you all to my channel. In this video, I give you 5 keys for success as a college student. Now at any point, feel free to click the notification bell or subscribe to my channel to get more content. So, without further ado, let's begin. Alright, so my first idea for this video was to give the habits of a successful college student. However, when I started to think about those habits, I realized that a lot of those things aren't necessarily universally agreed upon. For example, the idea of being organized or don't procrastinate, those things are somewhat correlated with success. However, there are many colleagues of mine who aren't necessarily the most organized, but they definitely can get stuff accomplished. And definitely, I know that I still sometimes pull late nighters or not necessarily all nighters anymore, but I wait sometimes till deadlines to get stuff done because I have a lot of work to do. And so instead of 5 habits of successful college students, I came up with 5 key things that I've noticed in college students who have been successful. So the first thing I noticed in college students who've been successful is that they treat college like their job. So you've had a job before, you know there's certain things you have to do to be successful. One, be punctual, show up on time for your work. So don't come in like halfway through the workday and expect to get paid for the full day. Be prepared before you get to work. So if you need a uniform, make sure you have your uniform on. If you have to complete a particular task, make sure you have the things you need to complete that task. And so in the same way that, again, you wouldn't go to work and not be prepared to do your work, don't come to college without notebooks, without your laptop, if that's required for a particular course, or your books. Also, in a job, you're expected to complete your tasks. So, for example, if you are working, in a construction job, you're giving certain tasks to complete. And if those tasks don't get completed, the building doesn't get built. So the same way with your job, with your coursework. So if you're given an assignment, complete your assignments. And you can't expect to get a good grade if you're not completing your assignments. And so again, just treat your classes, treat your college career like your job. And so I think those habits, lead to success in college and also will hopefully carry over when you're actually in a job that pays money once you're done with your degree. A second thing I've noticed in successful college students is that when they are having difficulties in the class, they don't wait until they are overwhelmed with issues or problems before they go to office hours to meet with their professor. If something's not clear, ask questions. Office hours are there for a reason. One thing that I've noticed over the years is that I have a lot of students who are struggling and they don't go to office hours. Now, the good thing about office hours is a time in which you can sit one-on-one with the professor and ask specific questions. I find that when students come to office hours and they talk to me face-to-face, by the time that they're done, things are much clearer. Because oftentimes the lack of understanding is based on maybe a break it down in communication. Maybe they're used to hearing things a certain way, or they're used to things being a certain way. And then with me being a new person, maybe the way I communicate things don't necessarily jive with the way that they're used to. Don't wait until you're already failing. Don't wait until there've been a bunch of assignments that you haven't been able to complete. When you first have issues, when you first have a bit of confusion, come to office hours, talk to the professor. And college students who've done that, from my experience, tend to end up being more successful overall. Now, this third thing is going to be a bit controversial. If you're having significant problems in a class, don't be afraid to withdraw. Now, one of the classes that I teach is a class called sociological analysis. In this class, I require students to write 2 20-page research papers. And that's the way the class was designed from the beginning. This is a difficult class. It fills important requirements, but it's a difficult class. And so at the very beginning, I tell students, if you have a full-time job that you can't really put the time towards the class, if you have things going on in your life at this moment that, you think might interfere with the class, this isn't the best time to take this class. Maybe put it off till later, or maybe find alternatives. Now, sometimes the students will start the class, they'll get into it, and they realize this is a lot more work than I'm used to. It's not really working for me. And so in those cases, I'm fine with students withdrawing, because sometimes those students will take the class later when they matured a little bit, they have more free time, and they do well in the class. But what you don't want to do is sit there week after week, struggling with the class, not necessarily making any headway, and then reaching the end and failing the course. That's what you don't want to happen. So if you're in a class and it's just not working, you're having difficulties, especially that first period when essentially it's within the withdrawal period, don't be afraid to withdraw. It's something is there for a reason. Again, we don't want people to fail classes. And of course, stuff happens in life. I mean, I understand this. I was a student myself at one point. Stuff happens. Sometimes this is not the right time for this particular course. So in those situations, don't be afraid to withdraw. And ultimately, that might be the best thing for you going forward. A fourth thing I've noticed in successful college students is that they read the syllabus. So I have two pet peeves as a professor. One is emailing me or calling me and asking me, are we doing anything in class today? It's class. We're doing stuff. That's what it's designed for. We do stuff in class. My other pet peeve is when you ask me questions about something that's clearly laid out in the syllabus. I take the time to design the syllabus in a way that it answers a lot of the questions that students have. And so when students don't read the syllabus, it's pretty clear to me that they haven't done so, because they ask me questions that are clearly laid out in the syllabus. And so, again, the syllabus is there. It has a lot of important information. Take the time to sit down and look at it and read it. Oftentimes the first couple days of class is kind of almost like a getting to know you period type deal. Use that time to read the syllabus, because oftentimes a lot of the stuff that's important in the class is talked about in detail on those syllabi. And if something's not clear on the syllabus, ask questions. Again, typically the professor is the one who designs the syllabus. That's definitely the case with me. I design all my syllabi. And so if there's something on the syllabus that doesn't make sense, if you ask me what it is and I wrote the syllabus, and I can hopefully be able to clarify it. I know with mine, it's pretty clear as to what each thing is. But again, if something's not clear, I'm more than willing to explain it in more detail. And if the syllabus is incomprehensible and the professor isn't willing to clarify it, go back to the last key. Don't be afraid to withdraw. And the last key to success for a college student that I want to mention here is that you should not be afraid to advocate for yourself. Now, when I say advocate, I don't mean be insulting. I don't mean being overtly disrespectful. But you do have to be able to stand up for yourself. Professors have a lot on their plate. So I know with me, I teach multiple classes. I do research that is published, and I also do service. And so, I have a lot of stuff going on. I'm doing these videos as well. And so, sometimes I can't really focus in on every single student in my class. Now, I make a point to try to get to know names and to deal with any questions I have from students, but I can't necessarily focus on any particular student at a given time. And in addition, if, you feel like the professor that you have isn't necessarily listening to you, or you feel like there's something going on, let them know what's going on. Maybe it's just something going on in their life. Maybe they just didn't notice it. Maybe they haven't dealt with a student quite like you with their particular situation. And so, talk, advocate, speak up for yourself. It's something that you need to do, not just in college, but just in life in general going forward, is that you're going to always be your best advocate. You know what's going on with you. You know your potential. And so when you have situations where something isn't going the way you think it should be going, speak up for yourself. And I've noticed that students who do that tend to do better overall in college. If you found this video interesting and or informative, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Also, please share this video. Thank you all for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day.